I would say most people who aren't really that knowledgeable about sports, like if they see how you are off of the court and they see how you are on your social media platform, they see you maybe out somewhere buying something, they're going to get interested in watching you on the court. What's going on, guys? This is Ithiel Horton, and you're watching The Sideline Show.
On and share a howdy. If we go bless this mood, we gonna have to get rowdy.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is The Sideline Show, and I am your host, Jackson Prince. Joining me on the show today is a very special guest, a good friend of mine and a teammate of mine here at the University of Texas, Mr. IT Horton. IT, what's going on, brother?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I can't complain. I got no complaints, man.
I know it, man. Well, you are my first guest
Let's go.
on The Sideline Show.
Let's go.
So, man, I cannot thank you enough for joining me. Thank you for doing this with me, man. And it's going to be a lot of fun, man.
It's going to be a lot of fun, man. No problem. Interning on the ground level. So,
on the ground level, man.
I know you've been talking about this for a while. So, when I came up to you on Sunday, I wanted to be a part of it. And here we are, man. So, let's get it going. Let's get it
here
rolling.
we are,
excited,
baby.
man.
ATX in the building, man. So,
Yes,
you've been around the block a little bit, and we'll get there. But first, man, I want to just kind of start off talking about Texas, man. Like, what's your experience been like since you've gotten to Austin, personally and in the basketball realm? Just talk a little bit about that.
Honestly, like coming into Texas, I definitely had my preconceived thoughts and preconceived notions about, the state of Texas and, what's there and, but honestly, like it's been showing me a lot of love. Like I've met a lot of great people. The people are really nice. Like I'm from New Jersey. So, you don't really get a lot of, friendly individuals up there, especially like the New Jersey, New York area. Everybody's so quick in a hurry to go on their way. They don't really stop and smell the roses. They don't really stop to say hello too much. But, people down here are really, really nice, really friendly. And you could just really be yourself. Like Austin it's so diverse, as all types of people down here, Black, white, Hispanic, Asian. So, you can really pick your poison. Like, everybody's so nice and, I'm loving it. Like basketball part aside, like,
that's awesome.
It's a great city. Like I really recommend it for anybody who wants to come visit down here.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
No,
yeah,
great.
man. I mean, I've kind of gotten the same feeling because I'm from Dallas.
Boy.
Went to Duncanville High School. I'm a freshman here.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
I'm kind of coming into Austin. I know a little bit more about it than you did.
For sure. Yeah.
But I'm kind of having that similar experience. I'm
Awesome.
loving Austin for what it is. I love the people here.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, man, everyone is really, really friendly. Everyone accepts you for who you are.
Yep. Down to earth.
Which isn't seen a whole lot in today's world. And especially, man, with us being Longhorns. I mean, this is a city who really loves its college athletics.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about, your experience on the basketball side of things.
Well, like you said, the city loves its Longhorns. Like I be seeing hook 'em horns everywhere, and I bought it. I won't lie, it was definitely a little weird throwing the horns up initially because it's like, wait, hold on, it's like a tradition down here. It's like a religion, a tradition. But like I really started to grow into it because like you said, like everybody loves the Longhorns down here, and to be playing for University of Texas, like it's nothing to be taken lightly. You know what I'm saying? And, just being here in a few months, like I came here kind of late. Obviously, y'all have been practicing. And I was just very eager and very excited to just get out there with you guys because I seen the practice was very elite, very high level, like high pace. Like RT was, putting his input in and y'all were going fast, like NBA style practice. So I'm like, I'm trying to get in that. I'm trying to get in on that. I'm trying to get better very quickly. But like I said, it's been a really good transition, like on the court. Like I'm getting very good work. I've gotten way better since I stepped foot on campus here and on the basketball court. And just knowing like it's just simple things like the way they break the game down, the type of things that we work on, type of actions that we have. Like you see it, like you said, Art, you see it every night in the NBA. That's the goal. Yeah. You see it every night in the NBA.
See it every night.
That's his thing, man. You know what I'm saying? And to get that type of training here, it's wonderful. Like I'm really blessed to be here, and to be alongside of guys like you and the rest of our teammates, man. It's a blessing.
Nah, man, it's definitely been a life-changing experience for me. And man, we haven't even played an official game yet.
Can you know how crazy? Like that's gonna be so crazy.
Dude,
I felt love at the orange white scrimmage. Not gonna lie, and that wasn't even like.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like packed for real. Like, so
man, I already know once we get into the Moody and we really get used to it and the corral shows us the love that it always does. Man, I was fortunate enough to come to a couple games last year.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was here at the exhibition when they beat Arkansas by 30. And I was here when they beat Kansas by, I think, 20.
Yeah, they ran Kansas. Yeah.
The energy was just nuts.
Electric, yeah. Insane. Like you don't get that anywhere else, I feel like.
Yeah.
Most places.
So let's talk about that for a second because, you know, by any metric that you look at in college athletics, I mean, bro, you're a veteran. You are
old guy, man.
You are a vet. You are a vet. So, you know, just a little bit about you. I'm gonna spew a little bit of history on you here because I do my research.
Okay, all right.
You know,
love it.
You came out of Roselle Catholic because you're from Vauxhall, New Jersey.
Go Lions.
So you came out of a really good Roselle Catholic team.
Yes.
I mean, that was a team that a lot of people looked at as one of the best high school teams in the country.
Definitely.
And so you go to Delaware, and then you transfer to Pitt, and you transfer to UCF, and now you're on your final stop here at the University of Texas. Man. So you've been around, man. Talk about that.
Man, when you pull it out like that, man, that's a lot of stops. That's a lot of stops on the road, man. I'm not gonna lie. But I guess I'll just take it back from the beginning, man. Like going to Roselle Catholic, it was very intimidating at first because, like I said, I'm from Vauxhall, New Jersey, so you know our local high school, Union High School. You know everybody buys into it. It's the hometown high school. We have a lot of good talent, a lot of gems there. But you know sometimes they don't really blossom like they should because they don't really get the recognition, and you know maybe their coaches aren't as plugged in as some other high school coaches are. So they're not able to get on the AAU scene as well because of that. So when I had the opportunity to go to Roselle Catholic my senior year and to play with Nazi Reed, Khalil, Alonzo, Josh Pierre, Jason Battle, Kobe Rogers, all
that's a stacked squad.
We're stacked. I don't think we lost a game in New Jersey that year. And I was watching Nazi when I was a freshman when I was at Union High School playing on the freshman team, bro. So like that's kind of a testament to my work ethic and to like, you know, what I put into the game. And to be able to go there my senior year and to win a championship and to be a very integral piece of that team was literally like, man, like there's nothing that I can't do. You know what I'm saying? If I put my mind to it. And that landed me some schools. But before that, I went to St. Anthony's. You know, they closed down and all that. Played for Bob Hurley. They kind of got me started a little bit. But Roselle Catholic, they definitely put me over the edge in terms of knowing what I need to do before I go to college. And like when I went to Delaware, like a lot of people were saying that, you know, oh, like kind of like we kind of got a steal. Like we weren't really supposed to get like this type of player. And so that was really good for me going in because it gave me a lot of confidence. It was like, okay, bet like I can play at this level, you know. And so went to Delaware. Had a great time, had a major success on the court. I feel like we should have went to the NCAA tournament, but, you know, some calls didn't go our way in the semifinals versus Hofstra. We should have beat them. But it was a great year. You know, I had a lot of great older veterans in that locker room. I was cool with a lot of them, still to this day. Then transferred to Pitt. It was a little slow going at first at Pitt. You know, I definitely thought I was going to come in there and make an immediate success, but I had to sit out the first year because of the red shirt rules, which are now gone. You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole nother piece. Like the guys transferring left and right, this and that. But, you know, I had to sit out. You know, I couldn't really travel with the team. Had to be on campus. I was the only red shirt, so I had to be on campus by myself, and it was really lonely.
Wow.
Very lonely at times. And, you know, I was living in an apartment. I wasn't really ready to live on my own in an apartment too early. So, like I said, I had to try and find some things to do. I had to try to find friends, but, you know, it wasn't really as smooth going as most people's red shirt years should be. But I learned a lot of good lessons that year. Kind of found out a lot about myself that year.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine, you know, what that experience was like, given that, you know, you're transferring to an ACC school that's known for its basketball culture.
That's right.
And when you look at it like that and you weren't able to travel with the team, it kind of hurts you in your redshirt year because you wanted that ACC experience, but you kind of had to wait, and you really only saw it during home games.
No doubt.
So-
No doubt. And I would be on the bench, like, and the Oakland Zoo, like, we got the corral here, but the Oakland Zoo is very live. It's very electric in Pittsburgh. And when I was just sitting on the bench, you know, just watching those guys get out there and get after it, hearing the crowd go crazy, I'm like, man, like, that's definitely something I wanted to be a part of coming in. But there was a lesson, you know, there's probably a lesson there. I needed to sit out that year and just watch. You know, sometimes, you know, you get put in a place where, you know, you can't really do, not really supposed to be doing much, right? You're just supposed to sit there, learn, and watch because, you know, there's some things that you might not be as ready as you think you are.
Right.
You know?
So let me ask you this. You know, you said that you had success at Delaware, right? And, you know, doing due diligence before this podcast, I looked at your stats and I would agree with you. I mean, that's a solid freshman year. That's about as good of a freshman year that you can ask for.
Definitely.
So why'd you leave?
I was very ambitious, I would say. I was very ambitious. I wanted to see if I could play at the next level because, like, you don't really know, but most of my coaches, like, they were kind of questioning me for going to Delaware, University of Delaware, my first year out of high school. They were like, if you just wait, you know, you could probably get some higher offers. You know, I think one of my coaches was like Villanova. Like, I think they were calling me about you. Georgetown was thinking about you. And I was like, you know what? I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel right. I felt really good when I went on the visit, right? So like I said, boom, right there. That has always been, that was in the back of my mind. Even when I was at Delaware, I kind of put it to the side during the season because I wanted to focus on just having a solid season and having fun with the guys. But as soon as that season ended, I was like, okay, I got some pretty good numbers. I was looking at the portal. I was like, do you want to try it? Like, maybe you should go for it. And, you know, I went for it. Like, it was one of the toughest decisions I had to make because I didn't want to leave that school because I've really gotten very comfortable at Delaware. I knew the coaching staff. I knew the players. I knew the system. I knew what they expected. I knew what they wanted. And more importantly, like, I knew the campus. Like, I was pretty, you know, I was pretty live. I was pretty live at the University of Delaware. I had a lot of friends and stuff like that. So, but it was very tough. So I that's why I made that transition.
Yeah,
I wanted to test myself.
You got to bet on you, right?
At the same time,
and I kind of get what you're saying because, you know, I just came out of high school.
Yeah.
And, you know, for those of you that don't know, as talking to my viewers, I'm a walk-on, right?
Yeah.
And that's
tough.
It's a tough life.
That's tough, man.
It's a tough life. And there were
yeah.
other schools that I could have gone to and actually went and played. But now I'm kind of going through kind of what you went through in your first year at Pitt, where it's like, man, like, I got to kind of sit back and learn from these older guys.
It's a whole new animal.
It's a whole new animal. And so, man, I really, you know, I kind of want to pick your brain on, like, for players who are about to enter a new environment where they're the little guy on the roster, what advice would you give those players?
Well, the first advice I would give those guys is to be patient. You know, just be patient. Like you said, coming from high school, you was probably, you know, I would say, like, the man, or you were the man, or, you know, you had a very important role. And now that you're in a whole new food chain right now, like, it's like, hold on, like, you got to be patient. You got to sit back, pick your spots. Number two, I would say to continue to show up, to continue to work hard and to stay consistent in your work habits. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only thing you can control. Like, you can't really control if you're playing a lot, like, in practice, or if you're going to play a lot in the games. But what you can control is your attitude and the way that you show up and your work habits and being consistent and being the same person you were yesterday and the same person that you're going to be tomorrow. Like, those are the only things that you can control. And then, like, I pretty much just based it, kind of just summed it up, like, just control the things you can control. You know what I'm saying? Don't let one aspect of your life slip off just because you're not seeing what you want to see in your main goal. You know what I'm saying? In your main aspect, like basketball. Because most people, identity is their sport. And I would say, like, nah, you're more than your sport. You know what I'm saying? What your sport is just something that you're really good at. God gave you a lot of good gifts, you know. It's just that your sport's someone that's being very recognized right now. But that's not in who you are entirely, you know?
Yeah. Nah, man, that's really good stuff, man. I mean, you know, you hear all these guys saying trust the process, and you hear this from, a lot of NBA guys, and you hear it from a lot of, retired veterans, but you don't really get to hear it from guys who are still trusting the process.
Oh yeah.
So talk.
I'm still trusting the process, man.
Man, I know it, bro. I know it, and like I really look up to you in terms of the type of player that I want to be, because you've had success in the NCAA, and I mean, to the listeners who don't know, I think you're going to be one of those dudes this year that just shocks the country.
Thank you.
I fully believe that, and I know that everyone in our locker room and everyone in this city believes that, and I know the number one person who believes it the most is you.
It's me. Yeah, I mean, I've stayed down. I've put the work in. Like I said, I've had some years where like I won't lie. Just like Nipsey Hussle said, like I've literally went through every emotion with this thing. Like there were times I thought about, man, I'm like, is it worth it? Like, is it going to pay off? Like, but at the same time, you can't really feed into those thoughts. It's normal. You know what I'm saying? You're human. Like, you're going to go through some down times where you're like, man, like, I don't really know if this is, like, is it worth it? Like, I'm putting in all this work. I'm just not seeing anything. I'm not seeing the results. Like, what happened to the player I used to be? What happened to this? Like,
man.
Like,
dog,
you know
player
what I'm saying?
the player I used to be,
Look,
bro.
I know I hit home on that one. I know I hit home on that one, bro.
Dude, no, like if you played basketball at any type of high level, and coming from, a place like Delaware moving into Pitt, where at Delaware, were you the best player on that team?
I would say I was up there. Yeah, I was up there. We had a big that was pretty good before me.
So you're at Delaware, you're a top 3 player on that team.
Oh, yes.
Was it like that when you walked in the door at Pitt?
No, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that because they already had their guys established. So tough. It was tough.
That's the game within the game.
Exactly. And it's all mental, man. Like, I would say like the biggest separator from low D1 to mid D1 to high Division 1 is just mentality, man. Like, that's the biggest separator, because I'm pretty sure, like, you see some good low D1 guys, some mid D1 guys that are really good, but it's like when they go high level, it's kind of like, wait a minute, like, what happened? But it's all a mentality, man. Like, and that's why I said, and it was tough going up in there because they already had their guys and they were well established. And, like, I mean, they had solid years. Like, they had some solid years that freshman, like, even though their freshman year, they didn't really win a lot of games. Like, they still kind of made their name. ACC knew them. So going in there, it was like, wait, hold on. Like,
well, it's all about the size of the pond that you're in, right? Because, at Delaware, it's a smaller pond.
It's a small pond.
In the game that we play, Delaware is a relatively small pond.
Yes.
No disrespect to them. They're a good program.
It's just facts.
But they're just a smaller pond. So then you go to the ACC where it's like, that's an ocean. And you can be, a big fish in a small pond, or, when you get into that ocean and you're fighting with them sharks and whales, it's like,
it's
tough.
And it's like, you got to come out on top versus them sharks and whales, man, and you can, like, you really can. That's why I say you got to stay dedicated. You got to stay down, trust the grind, man, trust the process. Like, it's really, when you, like, people probably be like, oh, what does that mean? Like, trust the process. Like, nah, you got to really trust it. Like, you have to actually, like, fall in love with the process. Like, you got to fall in love with, like, the bad parts of it. You got to enjoy the good parts of it. Like, it's all the process, man. Like, and like you said, the big fish thing, it's funny because when I got to the ACC, I was like, man, I'm playing against all the guys that played on the EYBL circuit that I couldn't even get on the circuit back when I was in high school. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, wait a minute, like, did that even really matter if I wasn't on the EYBL circuit coming up? Like, I was on the Adidas, but it was still good. But I'm like, man, I'm playing against all these guys. It was Nike this, Nike that. They was going here, going there. I'm like, oh man, like, so that's why it was a whole new thing for me. Like,
yeah, man. So, we
spent a lot of time.
That's a lot of that you dropped a lot of nuggets there, man. And I think it's important for especially viewers who are in high school. I think it's important for those guys to recognize that, because you can be the best player at your high school and go to a college where it's like you're fighting against that 6th-year senior.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Where the same position that you're in, because at the end of the day, while you're my teammate, I'm trying to do everything I can, and you know this. I'm trying to do everything I can to take minutes from you.
As you should. That's just how it is. Yeah,
that's just
and you
how it
should,
is.
and that's how it should be. To be honest,
absolutely.
Like,
it's the competition within the team.
exactly.
Yeah, and it's got to be there.
They don't know about that.
The best teams have to have that. So I think you're a guy who has really kind of found his niche in college basketball and really figured out the competition within the team.
Yeah.
And so like you're at Pitt and you have a couple good years at Pitt, and then you leave again.
Yeah, so the years at Pitt, like they were all right. They were kind of solid. I just didn't really I didn't really fit in with I would say, I'm going to be blunt, like offensively, I just didn't really feel the flow. Plus we were kind of stagnant those years. Like we weren't really winning a lot of games. And like, I would say like the culture, like Coach Capel, he's a great coach. He's a fantastic coach. His everybody on staff that he has hired, fantastic coaches. You know, say they know the game at a high level, played it at a high level, but like the culture that we had out there just wasn't good. And you know, it was on us. Like I feel like it was on us mostly because most great teams are player led. Like Coach always says, every coach always says they're player led. And you know, I just didn't think we had the guys to pull this thing together. So like I'd have been out there for, you know, another year, and I just didn't feel, I didn't like my odds staying out there for a third year. Like, even though they went next year, they went to the NCAA tournament. You know, I was happy. I was watching them. You know, I want them to go as far as they could. But like at the same time, I had to bet on myself. For me, the situation wasn't right for me, so I had to leave. Like that's why I ended up. And I thank God that, you know, UCF reached out to me, because in that transfer portal, man, it was looking slim, bro. Because like it was looking slim, and
that was an interesting time in college basketball, because that was when, if I'm not mistaken, that's when kind of the transfer rules changed.
They changed. Oh yeah, you could transfer. I think it was like a one-time. They hit them with the one-time transfer rule. So it's like if this is your first time transferring, you can go ahead and play right away wherever you choose your destination. So guys was up and jumping off the ship, bro, like left and right.
Well, I saw an article, you know, 3 months after the NCAA released that rule, I saw an article that said that there were almost 400 college basketball players in the portal.
No, that sounds about right.
And what's even crazier,
just unhappy guys, man.
What's even crazier is that some guys went from, you know, playing high major D1 to going D2.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like that shows you how good the transfer portal actually was, because all of the best players were leaving.
Yeah.
So talk about
some
that
guys
transition.
even went to JUCO, man. Like, dude, some guys went down and go to JUCO.
It was hard. It was hard. And me, I was, you know, a junior in high school, something like that. I was like sophomore, junior in high school, and I'm looking
crazy.
up, and I'm like, man, these dudes are struggling right now.
Yeah.
So like you were, you know,
I was fortunate. I was fortunate, man. Like, and then like I kind of had gotten into an incident that, you know, I don't really want to speak too much about it because it's over, it's past, but it's something that definitely shaped my story. Like I said, I got into a little incident out there in Pittsburgh. It was a wrong situation, wrong place, wrong time, man. So I had to end up like missing over half of my 2021-2022 season.
Wow.
You know, due to something still like I said, what happened down in Indiana, man, like that was kind of a similar situation to what happened to me at Pittsburgh. And, you know, I'm comfortable enough to speak about it right now. Before I couldn't even speak about it because it was just too heavy. And I had put in so much work that summer. Like I was really starting to turn a curb. And I had some really good practices too, like leading up. And guess when that incident was, bro? That incident was 2 days before the first game of the season, bro.
Man.
2 days before the first game. So all that work to just have it be like, nah, it doesn't matter. Taken away from you. Thrown away.
Tough.
You know? And I'm still trying to figure out that. And I remembered, I'm not trying to figure out that. I know the lesson I was supposed to be taught then. But that's part of the reason, more than part of the reason why I left, because Pittsburgh was, you know, that city it's a cool city, but, you know, the inner workings, it's a little shady.
It's a little rough, huh?
It's a little rough.
And it gets like that. I mean, you know, we know people who have been caught in similar situations and didn't come out the other side.
I know.
Still with the chance to play high major Division I basketball.
That's what I'm saying.
So I mean,
man,
you know,
when you put that into perspective like that, man, like dude, I'm so grateful and so fortunate,
very blessed
to even be here. Like, I mean,
man,
I was supposed to be done. I feel like I was supposed to be done back then. You know, like
yeah, man. So you go to UCF.
Yep.
And
go to UCF.
And yet again, you're in another jersey. You're black and gold now.
Black and gold.
So
man.
talk about being at the biggest school in the country by attendance. I believe it's the biggest school in the country.
Well, I would say you're not really gonna see the same person more than twice throughout that entire week. But UCF was. I knew I instantly loved it, just because obviously like it's in Orlando, Florida. The palm trees coming off the airport, coming off the airport train. The palm trees had me. It was hot, it was just beautiful down there. And then when I went to go, watch the way they play, I went to go see the facilities and get a little ride around campus. I quickly started to envision myself having a lot of success there, both on and off of the court. And so that was probably a big factor in me choosing UCF. And shout out to Coach Mamadou, Coach Norris, man. Shout out Dawkins, Coach Lang, all them guys, man. I love them guys. I love them guys because they took me in. They bet on me again. That's the reason why I really love them guys, because after everything that happened out there in Pittsburgh, man, they took a chance and they betted on me again, man. That was Coach Dawkins, Coach Mamadou, all them guys, man. And they really took me under their wing. And
it worked out well.
It worked out well, man. Like we were really good. I'm telling you, bro, we really should have went to the NCAA tournament that year.
I fully agree with that. Because I remember watching you guys, and I watched a little bit of film before this podcast, and I was like, man,
we were solid.
Y'all had a very, very solid team.
Yeah.
More solid than a lot of people give you credit for.
More solid than a lot of people we get credit for, because everybody on that team could hoop. Man, we used to do in the summer, man, we used to do these one-on-ones. Like UCF was like a battle. It was like a combat, bro. Like the way we was going down there, it's combat. Like, how you got people in an arena. It's like a one-on-one combat. Like you sharpening your skills every day, ironing skill every day. So we do one-on-ones, man. You playing against guys, and it's like I know I'm tough, but like, man, that was tough, bro.
Yeah.
Like how you even like hold on, I didn't even know you could dribble like that. Hold on, wait a minute. How do you and we played every day, one-on-one battles. Like we were going at it every single day, man. Like that's why when we play UCF this year, like really come at us, because that's how Coach Dawkins is, man. And it really shaped me. It really toughened me up for real. Like just going at it every day with my teammates. And like we were solid, man. We had Taylor. Taylor was number 9 on the draft board. We got my man CJ Kelly over there in Italy, dropping 26 every night over there. You had me. You had DJ, who was quick. Can't take the ball from him. Can't do none of that.
DJ's nice.
DJ's tough. DJ's tough. And a bunch and other guys too. Ty Freeman, even guys that didn't even play a lot, man. Them dudes they could go.
Yeah.
That's the one thing, Coach. These guys can go.
And that's something I want to touch on real quick, because we see it here.
Yeah.
For those of you who are listening who think that the guys at the end of the bench can't hoop,
them guys can go. Them guys can go.
Okay.
What?
Like,
I'm talking to one right here.
let's talk about right.
They could go.
Dog, I'm like 15. I'm 15th man. But
can go, man.
I can hoop. And
oh my goodness.
Don't even talk about Tristan, who's a GA.
He's a GA.
He's a GA.
Our GAs could go.
Bro, at the Division I level, GAs can hoop,
man.
Like they will give you 30 and not even sweat in a 25-minute segment. They'll have more points than they do minutes.
I swear.
And
there'll be some long segments too. You ain't getting off the floor.
Bro.
You got to get a stop.
Yeah, you got to get a stop to get off the court, bro. You're not getting off the court against them GAs, bro. I'm telling you.
But then that's the thing. That's what we talk about. It's like guys like you, guys like Tristan, even Preston. I mean, even guys like Preston. Like
Preston Clark is a different animal.
He's the best stop and go in Austin, Texas, bro. I always say that. Preston Clark has the best stop and go. And his shot, bro, you would think like, wait, did he even catch the ball? Like first, like it's already up. It's already in the air. Like
I played against him in the state championship in high school. And
that's right.
The development that I've seen from then to now, I mean, never thought that I would consider him a guard.
Are you serious? Wait, are you serious?
Dog, he played.
I thought he always played like that.
No, buddy. He played center. He played center. His whole role on that Westside team was to pick and pop and be a tough guy. And he did his job well at Westlake. So he came here, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's going to fall into that same category.
Yeah, that 4 or 5, man.
Now he's out here bringing the ball up the court, playing off of ball screens, rocking, like, bro.
Dude, He looked. I forgot the player comparison I compared him to, man. But oh man, I wish I could remember right now because he plays exactly like this player. It'll come to me. But like,
do you want basketball will force you to develop or you'll die?
Yeah.
That's
literally
how it goes.
That's the only two options, man. Like you're either gonna overcome and develop, or you're just gonna be like, you know what, man, it's not for me. It's not for me.
It's just not for you. So let's switch gears a little bit.
All right.
Let's, how does someone go from Ithiel to IT? Talk about you as a person, man, because I personally love you.
All right, man.
Talk about your personality a little bit. Talk about your personal brand. Let's dive in that.
All right. So first off, I got the name IT. Shout out to Kenna. Shout out to Kenna at Pitt. My boy Chook Woo. So when I first got to Pitt, they were like, okay, his name is Ithiel, and my boy Kenna, who was one of my OGs up there, he's like, yeah, I'm not calling him that. I was not gonna call him that, never. And they was like, well, okay, we'll make up a nickname for him or something. This is on the side. I never even knew about this. He told me the story like literally 2-3 years ago, and he's like, somebody was like, Ith. He's like, no, we're not calling him Ith. He was like, well, what about it? They said no. They said call him IT. And it was like IT. They say, yeah, all right, cool. So I got IT when I went to Pitt, my red shirt year. Just a little backstory on that. But I kind of like to think of IT as like a different kind of person than I am. Like Ithiel is me right now. That's a guy who's very like calm, relaxed, a little shy, But if you really get to know me a lot, like I'll really talk your head off, Real jokey, charismatic, down to earth. Kind of like a Joker type of guy.
The dude we love.
That's what I say. The dude we love. And, but when I get on the court, it's like I kind of go to IT, which is like that dog. Like he's aggressive. He's willing to do anything. He's willing to do anything on the court to make his team win. He's just real like amped. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, well, they don't have to know about this, but like with the scrimmage and stuff, when I got the tech and stuff like that, like that's IT.
Hold on, I'll tell him. So we're scrimmage in Colorado. Okay, it's a tight game, and IT had just came down and hit a 3. Yeah. The next play, we call an action. IT says nah, sizes bro up, sidestep 3. Didn't even think about hitting the rim, and then he turns, looks at the guy, boom, tech. We were all like, "Oh,
bro." And then Dylan was like, he's like, you basically scored 1 point on that play, right? I'm like, nah, what you mean? He was like, bro, you hit the 3 and then they hit the 2 for technical free throws.
Who said that? Double D?
Yeah, Double D.
That's a double D thing to say, bro. That's a double D thing to say, bro. No, you scored 3 points. You just gave up 2.
Gave up. That's what I'm saying, yo. Double D, that's a whole other thing. He's funny as heck.
Double D's funny, man. We'll have him on the show, and that's gonna be a good.
Oh yeah, you gotta get Double D on the show, man. Yeah.
So
that's kind of like IT.
That's IT, man. So in college basketball, right? This is ultimately a business. So
for sure,
you represent the brand that's on the front of the jersey,
definitely.
But how do you represent the brand that's on the back of the jersey?
Man, that's such a great question because so many people don't really know, and it's not their fault. Like most people probably weren't really told this, or most people probably don't even really give a thought about it. They don't really care about it. But like how you represent yourself, how you represent the name on the back of the jersey, you always got to represent it with. First of all, you got to be a great person, man. First of all, you got to be a great person, man. You got to look very presentable. You got to have some manners because, like you said, whether you like it or not, that brand on the front of the jersey is always showing. So, in order to represent the brand on the back of the jersey as best as you can, you got to stick by those. And I call them kind of like rules of conduct. You know what I'm saying? That's just the rules of conduct that you have to have when playing at such a visible university, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter where you play, but if you play for a brand or a university that's really huge, especially within that town, you may play for a small D1 or a mid D1, but it's like the university in that town. Oh, there's eyes on you all the time. So,
well, I think, and this is what I tell a lot of high school guys, the biggest problem in grassroots athletics right now is that there's not enough emphasis on someone's personal brand.
No.
And it's not so much from a skill standpoint as far as on the court, but the person that you are off the court is worth 10 times more than the person that you are on the court.
Yeah.
Because your skills can only speak so much. The man that you are off the court
speaks volumes.
It determines if you even get to be on the court.
That's true. And you know what? That's the one thing that they, you know how we talked about how like coming out of high school, you know, you got to battle against a 6-year senior for a spot. Well, if you're the best man on your college team, you got to, when you go to the NBA, you got to battle against a dude that's 30 years old, 20 years, 25, 27. He got kids, he got a wife, and you're not really going to be the man on that team. So it's like, what's going to separate you from that? And the most frequently asked question from those guys in the front offices is, how is he as a person? Like, what is he like in the trainer? What does he do? Like, what is he like? You know, like.
Look, man, my message to athletes, if you can hoop, everyone knows that you can hoop. Stop worrying about the exposure as far as how many people are watching you play basketball, and worry about the type of dude that you are off the court. Because if you're not worried about the type of dude that you are off the court, people won't care who you are on the court.
They won't. And you know what? Most people, like, they don't. If they see how you are off of the court and they see how you are on your social media platform, they see you maybe out somewhere buying something, they're going to get interested in watching you on the court. Okay.
This is why I'm doing the podcast, and this is why I'm doing the social media branding, is to help others find their own personal voice and
That's
to
huge.
really show who these players are, because everyone sees them as, oh, he plays at the University of Texas.
That's right.
He plays at Pitt. He plays at UCF.
That's right.
Yes, we know all of those things, but who are you as a man? And that's why I post content. That's why I do the podcast. That's why I'm doing the social media, is because I want people to know me as more than just number 24 in the Texas jersey,
That's right.
despite the fact that that's a huge part of my brand.
That's true. That's actually a crazy statement. That is the hugest part of your brand, but it is not the.
It's not the entirety.
It's not the entirety of it. You know, so it's like. I love the fact that you're using this to showcase who you really are, like truly inside. And then, like you said before I love how you're going to use this podcast to elevate other athletes as well. You know, while also elevating yourself as well. So like it's mutual. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? That's what this is about, man. Like it's about winning. You know, it's about coming and having a good time, but. While you here, man, like, you know how they always talk about using the connections and using the platform and building relationships.
Have to.
That's what it's all about right there, man. And you know, you're the greatest. I think you're probably the greatest example of this right now. I don't know anybody else out here that's doing it like you. So, you know, like when I watch your content on Instagram, like I truly get inspired. Like one of my boys out my old school, he's really inspired. Like I said, he wants to come on the podcast as well. So
Man, that literally means the world to me, because while I'm doing this, there's no secret about this. Part of the reason that I make content is to also get me out there.
Of course.
But the reason that I'm doing the podcast and having the guests on is to get you out there and to get the guys out there.
Yep.
Smaller guys who aren't talked about a whole lot, like Preston and Cole By. Like
who have great stories, man.
Who have amazing
Yes.
stories, amazing personalities.
These people
but
look
because
twice.
they don't score a ton of points, they won't get talked about.
I know.
So I want to be the guy who talks about those guys.
Man, sticking up for the little guy, man. That's what we need. That's exactly what we need.
And I'm doing it. I'm trying to do it from the little guy position, which is a tough battle. But luckily, I got guys like you in my corner. I got guys like Edgar in my corner.
That's right.
Like,
Shout out to Edgar, man.
We're building this community here, and we're really showing people like, hey, even though you're not the best player on the team, because I'll probably never be the best player at Texas, which is totally fine. But I know that I have my role in this community, and I'm going to do everything that I can to help build and support it.
For sure. And like I said, I don't know how many people are spiritual, but that's God. That's God's purpose. That's God's plan. Like, what are you like I said, basketball isn't your end all, like who you are. So like, what are you doing? Like, how are you furthering your purpose? Like, what is your purpose here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you never really know your full purpose, but I would say to you that you are on the right path of your true purpose and your true meaning down here, which is, I mean, it's there's not much that I could say. You know, most people dream about living out their purpose. You know,
Yeah.
I think you're on the right track of doing
man.
that, man. Especially from the little guy position, like you said, which is that was tough. I ain't gonna lie, that was
Thanks,
tough.
man. I appreciate
That was
you.
tough,
Nah,
bro.
man. I mean, that means the world hearing that from an older dude that I do look up to, because I do look up to you as a brother.
My brother.
So, man, you know, we're talking about personal brands and the importance of that.
Yep.
So let's kind of shift that, and where does that actually apply in college athletics? And that's NIL. So you were in college. You were in the middle of college when this whole thing went down. July 1st, 2021 was the effective date. Talk about how life has looked from that date.
Oh man. Like I said, I'm on my last year, and you know, I had it. They've been working on this for years. You know, even when I was, you know, coming out of high school, they've been working on this for years, and to finally be, you know, a part of the NIL. The NIL thing is I would say it's amazing. It's cool. But I would say like it's a little hectic, I would say, but because there's no really no cap on it. You know what I'm saying? Like guys can make however much they want to make. But for me, I would say that NIL has been great. It's been great. Like I've been able to get out and meet a lot of people. Shout out to Texas One Fund. Who I have an NIL collective with. You know, they've gotten me out there to events that I wouldn't even know is going on in Austin. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I want to say 2 weekends ago, we went out to we went on a lake, and they were having some little party for like 40s or the 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, and just to be out there and to talk to those people, like serve them food. You know, it's like putting yourself. It's making yourself. I'm trying to find the right statement. Trying to find the right.
It helps you get out there. Like it helps you meet new people. It helps you kind of get in a space where otherwise you would have never been.
Never would
you would have been in the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just being real, like
no, I definitely would have.
But it gives you like in all seriousness, no, it gives you that opportunity to like actually forcibly go meet people who can not just help you right now financially, but will be able to help you in the future. That's
right. No, definitely. And that's what it's all about. We bring it back to connections. And I think my first ever NIL, it was so actually really, it's really interesting, the whole process of how it works. My first NIL was with HAM, which is it's an alliance, an agency that helps, I think, was it Austin musicians. It kind of helps pay their rent. Something like that. I forgot the details. I'm sorry about that. But it was really cool, like going in to see the building that they built, to showcase, you know, their initiative. And so, like I said, I met some really good people there. And I wish I had more details because it was a while ago. I'm sorry about that. But
no, you're good, man.
Like I said, like forcibly getting out there and getting outside of yourself, you know, because during the week you can always see yourself. I'm a Texas basketball player, you know, go eat at the Take, you know what I'm saying, go to class, come back, nap, individual, back home. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now it's something different. You know, I'm learning about something new. So
yeah, no, awesome. Man. I mean, that's a very cool kind of experience that you get to have. And I mean, I know that you don't take it for granted because a lot of kids have dreams of doing NIL deals, and some of them will just never get the chance. And I think,
unfortunately,
I think that's kind of where the personal brand comes in the biggest, because the ones who have been the most successful with NIL, some of them aren't the best athletes. But they've been able to develop themselves as a noticeable figure and as a real human being that people actually connect with.
That's right.
And like, it's just really important for you to do that. And I think you're really kind of in the upswing of that process right now.
Yeah. I'm in the upswing of it because, you know, a lot of people say that I have good character. Like somebody told me that I'm pretty marketable. Like I never really knew that. I just be myself.
No,
you know
are,
what I'm
man.
saying?
Well, that's why you're marketable, is because you just be yourself.
Yeah. And like you said, like I don't want to shout out nobody, but some people that really ain't that as talented on the court of their sports as get a lot of NIL deals. But that's what I'm happy for them. You know, I'm happy for them because they're getting a head start in life. You know, when it comes to that.
So, you know, are there any, you know, I'm going to ask every member of the podcast, you know, I'm going to ask them this question. Is there an NIL deal that you're just dying to do? Like, what's your like dream. Like you get this NIL deal, and obviously it'll open a lot more doors. But you get this NIL deal, and you're like, man, like I did it.
Man, that's a tough one because I wouldn't say that I haven't been thinking. I haven't been thinking about it, but I want to say like it might be far out there, especially right now. Just looking at right now, but I'd probably love to get an NIL deal like a tech company or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe like Dell or like Apple or something like that. I don't know, just because like that's such a strong. Those are such strong companies, you know what I'm saying? And to align yourself with one of those companies, like it's huge. Like I think it's big. Like not because you get all the perks and this and all the free stuff and all that, this and that, but you know what I'm saying? You could if you can meet the team, you can meet the front office, you can meet the executive teams, you can meet the CEOs, like, and you could just learn a lot from them. You can get a lot of nuggets from them. And like I said, whoever knows how much, whoever knows who knows what they'll have you doing, you know? Like,
that's really interesting that you said tech companies, because that's not something, everyone's like Gatorade, Nike, Body Armor.
Yeah, nah.
Like, but you're like, nah, I'm thinking 40 years.
Yeah, I'm thinking 40 years right now. Because like I said, when you go to school, man, for all those people trying to go to school and just picking a school, it's like, don't think about the 4 years. You know what I'm saying? You got to think 4D years. And somebody said this to me on my visit.
Whoa. Hold on.
Yeah.
Back that up. I want you to say that again real slow.
All right. So, like I said, everybody thinking about going to school, don't think about 4 years. That's short term. Most successful people think long term. So you got to think 4D years, not 4 years, 40 years. And you got to go to a university that's going to give you that option to think about 40 years. That's going to give you those relationships and connections to have 40 years. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Hold on, man. That's
4D.
big. And I already know that's a huge reason why you're here.
Oh, yeah.
Why you're sitting in this room is because, you came to Texas and you want those 40 years to be because of the 40 acres.
48. Dang. All right. Okay. I'll give you that one. That was smooth. I ain't gonna lie. That was smooth.
It was all right.
Because it's like
my Duffy a little bit.
When you play, man, obviously, you want to have a good time here playing basketball, make a lot of friends, but just know that they don't forget that you played. They don't forget that you played for the University of Texas. So they're gonna look out for you down the road. And if you're good, that's why we talk about everything we talk about connects and everything leads up to something. We're not just spitting conversations, spitting facts, man. You gotta have a great personal brand off the court, because these individuals, they want to help. Like, they want to help athletes. So if they remember you being, sort of a hard head and, say a little hot head, he's not gonna look out for you, man. Not gonna look out for you. And, you're gonna wish, and then that's when regret comes in. You're gonna really wish that you were a better person.
Yeah, man. So, and all of that, kind of like we said, it really does tie into NIL, because that's a huge part of, your network is your net worth, and your personal value can be reciprocated into monetary value, right?
Yeah.
And
just like that.
So, talking about that NIL landscape, right? Is there, it's a baby. This is a very, very new thing. This is an infant project, and something that we're all really just kind of learning as we go along. So, like, looking at the current state of NIL, what do you want to change? If there's something that you could alter about the current NIL space, what would that be?
Honestly, when NIL first blossomed, I kind of just wish that it was pay for play. I just kind of wish that I kind of feel as though, like, yeah, I'm a student, but I kind of feel like this is how I feel personally. Like, I'm an employee. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I show up to work. I feel like it's just like the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like, I show up to work. I put in the hours. I just go to class. Like I said, I'm a student athlete, obviously, but like, I just go to class. Like, I honestly thought that they were gonna do a pay for play. Like, obviously, the higher guys on the team they're gonna make a little more. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna make it respectfully, because
as they should.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody is, but sometimes some players are left out with NIL because some players are just maybe more marketable, or some players just got the status coming out of high school. Like, it doesn't really. Everybody doesn't really get a large piece of the pot, man. Like, I guess that would be the one thing I wish would happen. Like, just a pay for play. Like
So your part of your problem, I guess, is the whole amateurism rule, right? Like
oh man.
Yeah,
I feel so strongly. I do not like that rule.
Yeah. I
hate that
mean,
rule.
and
Oh.
I kind of feel the same way in that, we're here and our day is scheduled from the moment we wake up to basically the moment we go to sleep. and
Yeah.
we do get these perks and we do live a good life, but it has that flip side where it's like the physical and mental toll that we take on ourselves as college athletes. If you're one of those guys who isn't the most marketable, then you're really kind of getting the short end of the stick, especially a guy who might be a walk-on or might be on half scholarship. Right. It's like, where's the line in that of like how much you're getting paid? Because either way, whether you're first man on the roster or 15th, in some way, shape, or form, you're generating revenue for that school.
Exactly. Of course. No, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that sentiment. And like I said, it's a tough thing. Like the NCAA's got to get in that. They got to get in that room and really discuss, like, and really talk about it. And like I said, I know the NCAA is very, very controlling, very demanding. Like, they don't like going to court. They hate going to court because every time they go to court, they always lose. You know what I'm saying? But like, they always lose. So like,
yeah,
I just don't know. I don't know where I see NIL like going from here.
But
like, I don't know if you like. What do you think? Like, where do you think NIL is going to go from here?
I think that it's a blessing and it's a curse because on one end, I absolutely love NIL for what it currently is because it's kind of the best of both worlds because the NCAA is not going to get rid of amateurism. However, it's allowing us a way to get paid for our marketability. Here's the part of the equation that I don't like. And it's the fact that most big time NIL deals are given to the same 5% of players. And if you're one of those guys who's like me, not super highly recruited out of high school, then you have to work your tail off to really kind of try to generate some type of revenue for yourself, which is why I keep stressing the importance of a personal brand. Because if you're not one of those highly recruited guys, you're not going to get paid through NIL if people don't have eyes on you. So that's why you need to have that personal brand. And I look at the Cavender twins who, they get dubbed these nicknames, and I love what they've done with their personal brands.
Yeah, that's great.
They have laid the groundwork for guys like me doing what I'm trying to do. I'm just doing it in a different way. Right. But I hate the fact that they get dubbed with like frat boy fantasy and hot girl of college basketball twins. Like, take the sexualization out of it and look at them for what they've actually done, because while they may be attractive, I don't respect them because they're attractive or because they're hoopers. Right. I respect them because of the work that they did to develop their own personal brands for themselves. And like, man, like they did it. They did what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And what
at a very high level too.
At a very high level.
A very high level.
And it helps that they're attractive and that they're girls and they're twins, which is extremely marketable. So they kind of got a perfect situation going on from the jump, but that doesn't mean that they didn't put the work in. So
that's true. Yeah. You know what? I think that definitely goes very. I think that the amount of work is definitely overshadowed by, their aesthetics and, like where they go to school, like, Miami, and plus, they're in Miami as well too. So like it's a hot market down there in Miami too. For sure. But like you said, they definitely have put the work in. I'm one of those people too. Like, I never realized how much work that they put in to earn the deals that they have. So you know what? Yeah. I was changed. My mind has changed.
No, I mean, the fact is, though, and this is the part that I don't like about all that, is while they've done it, very, very few others have. So it's like, I want high school athletes who are coming into college to really understand, like, these girls and guys like Caleb Williams, who are really just marketing themselves, they're laying the framework for what every single high school athlete should be doing. And real facts, like I said, that's why I'm doing what I do.
True.
That's why I'm trying to do what I do, man.
Man, that's good stuff, man. I just learned some nuggets too. I didn't even know that.
I mean,
like all the top deals go to the same 5%.
Well, and this is why I called it the Sideline Show, because this is so much more than sport. That's why I called it the Sideline Show. This is so much more than just what school you play for, what sport you're in. It's who you are as a person, and how can you shape that and show the world who you are so the world can love you for who you are, and ultimately you can monetize that.
That's a good
because
deal.
every single person has something about them that makes them special and unique. Right. Because you're good at things that I'm not good at, and I'm good at things that you're not good at, and that's perfectly okay because we're both being successful doing what we do best.
Yeah. That's huge.
So I mean, that's just how I see it, man.
That's great.
So just kind of wrapping up. You know, you have an incredible story, bro.
Thank you.
You have an incredible story. You've worn a lot of different colors. But this is your last stop.
Last stop.
This is your last stop, man. And this is your last year to really get it done. And I know me and the other guys are going to do everything in our power to make sure that you have the best year possible.
Sure.
So,
Likewise.
you know, what are you looking forward to this year?
Man, I'm looking forward to everything this year. Like I said, I think, you know, this is our last year in the Big 12. And it's my last year in college, so that's a nice little correlation right there. And I'm looking to go out with a bang, man. Like I haven't won anything on this level yet. So I'm looking to I know the guys won the Big 12 last year. I'm looking to win the Big 12 this year. I'm looking to go to the NCAA tournament. I'm just looking to defy all the odds, man. I'm looking just to have a great year personally, great year as a team. And I'm looking forward to just the away trips, man. Like just the little things, like the away trips when we going out to eat dinner, you know, even watching the scout late at night, like just little things like that you kind of gloss over that you do every day. But when you're done playing, like you're gonna miss it. And most importantly, I'm looking forward to the games in the Moody this year, man, because Moody Center will be crazy, you know. So, and I think we're working our tails off this year, and to give the fans something special to watch when you're down on that court.
Absolutely, man. So, number 9, Ithiel Horton. Do you have any last remarks before we wrap this thing up?
Oh, man, this is the Sideline Show, man. This is in its infancy right now. Wait till it blows up. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Of course, buddy. To all of my viewers out there, make sure you go follow IT on all of his socials, which I will have linked down below in the bio. If you're listening to this on Spotify or on Apple Music, be sure to go follow me and IT on Instagram and TikTok.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you guys for everything that you do. And whether you're on the court or whether you're on the sideline, go with God and always do your best. Peace.